Okay, guys, day number 2, welcome back. So how did everyone go with the sleep challenge last night? Let's see if there's some great feedback there in the group. So day 2, let's talk about lifting. So my question really is, why do we lift weights if we can't lift our body? So the topic of today is actually about body weight training. So body weight training is still quite underrated, but it also has quite significant benefits to the wider population. Now, when we say wider population, we don't necessarily mean that it's the young, buff guys and girls running around with six packs and they're doing the calisthenics, but we're talking about the wider population. Now, just have a think back. If you're in your 30s and 40s or even in your 20s, have a look at the park across the road, around the corner, the school ground. Look at the kids. They're running, they're jumping, they're crawling, they're rolling. But with the exception of those that have some other form of limitation, they're not limited. They're running around, they're bending their body, they're pushing, they're pulling, they're bending, they're squatting, and they're all doing that and they're using their body. So bodyweight training can have a high output. And from an investment perspective, there's pretty much little to none. It's just you and your body. But you start to see other things that when you go through the program where you're doing bodyweight training, you will see things like improvements in your balance, improvements in your flexibility, because you're starting to find that you're using the body the way that it's designed, and also improvements in your range of motion. So that flexibility is one thing. I'm a bit more supple. I can move around a bit more, but also now I can actually get down and I can get up a bit better. It could be something as simple as a squat. It's also generally low impact. So even if we're doing, say, for example, box jumps, if we're doing them properly, it's a body weight activity. And if we're landing through our heels and absorbing the shock of the load, it's more controlled. Bodyweight training also gives us more variety. So it's not just push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, but thinking we can crawl, we can lunge, we can go forward, we can go backwards, we can go sideways. But also, key thing about bodyweight, anywhere, it's anytime. So space is not an issue. So we're going to talk to you about zoo and the type of bodyweight training modality that we use in our programming. And that's simply designed around confined spaces. Okay, so our daily task is this. What I'd like you to do is think about how you move. So these are the basic movement patterns that we do day in, day out. We push things, we pull, we bend, we squat, we twist, we lunge. So climbing the stairs is a lunge, and gait. Gait is simply that combination activities. So think of a lunge and a twist. I'm bending down to pick up something. I stand up and I rotate it around and I place it on the table. That's what we call a gait activity. Now, we do these generally every day, and we do it without any load-bearing weight, i.e. like a barbell on our shoulders. But by doing so, we also work on developing our gross fine motor skills. So again, think back to a child. The gross motor skills that a child develops when it goes from learning to roll off of its back onto its stomach. It then puts its head up. It then is able itself to crawl. So it's developing the motor skills of the crawl. When it then realizes that it can actually stand up, it's a different set of motor skills. Okay, so all of that activity that's happening in the young infant, the strengthening of the ligaments, the tendons, how they work together with the muscles, and they work in what we call a multi-planar manner. So forward, sideways, backwards. You'll hear people refer to sagittal planes, transverse planes. That's all how we dissect the body in a three-dimensional pattern. So with our daily task, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to design your own little body weight circuit. Now, Tabata is simply a training protocol. It's not a class, as people get confused about. But what I would like you to do is this. You can go get a Tabata timer. Some phones have just simply got a little interval timer. Okay, Basically, one Tabata round consists of 20 seconds of work with a 10-second rest period, and you do that for 8 intervals. Okay, so that's what we call one protocol. When you do that, that's 4 minutes. That's 4 minutes for your little routine. Now, what I'd like you to do is pick 3 exercises only. Okay, an upper body one, that may be a push-up. It can be on the floor, on your knees, on your toes. It could even be leaning against the wall for those who don't have the strength to do so. You want to do a lower body. Now, lower body can be as simple as a squat. It can be a lunge. It could be a box jump. Okay, it could be simply running on the spot, but something that uses the primary lower half of your body. And then the third one is the core. So something that is abdominal related. That might be a sit-up for those who want to do it, a reverse crunch, where we're pushing our feet up into the air. For those who are more advanced, you might want to look at the butterfly sit-ups, the GHD machine in the gym, for those who are familiar with what that is. It may even be simple as leg raises or simple old school flutter kicks. So if we need to, let's put our hands underneath the small of our back and protect ourselves. So what I'm aiming for you to do is you're going to aim for the exercises in the protocol. So we looked at the 3 different muscle groups. Let's aim for 4 exercises. So for example, it could be, I might want to do 1 upper and 1 lower. Okay, and I may want to look at 2 variations of those exercises. So let's say I do push-ups on my knees for round number 1. I might do an air squat or a body weight squat for exercise number 2. I then go back to upper body, and then maybe instead of the push-up, I might just hold the plank. I can hold the plank in the low position on my elbows, or I could hold it in a high position on like a full push-up. Okay, and that will double as not only upper body exercise, but also doubles as your core exercise. And then your 4th exercise, it may be something as simple as walking lunges. So it could be walking forward, could be doing reverse lunges, and there's your 4. So what you're going to do, you're going to do each one of those twice. There's your 8 rounds, there's your protocol, that's your workout done. Now, what I'd like you to do when you're done though, post a little selfie of your routine, write down in the group, what was the routine that you chose to do, and share it with the group. If you did a couple of different variations, because this is only one protocol, it's only 4 minutes worth of work, you might do that one because you're comfortable with it. You might do that one and only do it twice. There's 8 minutes. You might do it 3 times. Okay, there's 12 minutes plus a break, 15 minutes worth of activity. You may even do it 4 times. It's 20 minutes worth of work with a little bit of a break, and that's your exercise done for the day. So for those of you that are looking for something that's a little bit more challenging, what we're going to do in the group today is you're going to post a video of some of our zoo routines. Now what zoo is, it's an animal-based movement patterns that we incorporate into our bodyweight training. And yes, all the movements typically have an animal name, like a bear crawl, which most people should know what that is, a polar bear press. We've got some snakes in there, some iguanas, we've got some frogs. But what we'll do is we'll post the video in there and we'll show you 1 round of 1 routine, and we'll also maybe throw in a second one for those who want some more challenging. If you're a beginner, go slow. Focus on your range of motion. If you haven't exercised for a while and this is the first one you're going to do, take your time. I want you to enjoy the workout. I don't want you to come out and kill yourself. So therefore, focus on performing the range correctly, performing the exercise correctly. If you're not sure, send me a message. Tell me what your limitation is or isn't, and we'll come up with a variation for you. The whole idea is I just want you to engage within the group. For those who are a little bit more advanced and who want to push the limit, you can find with your body weight, you can apply a lot more intensity. And as we say, the term is, I want you to rep it out. So if you want a baseline, and I'm doing push-ups, 1 push-up a second is generally the go-to. So that's 20 push-ups within that 20-second activity. If you're doing just push-ups, for example, you might find that by round 3, you're going to struggle to even get 10. But hey, if that's what you want, have a bit of a go. That's the daily task today. is that little workout. So day 1 is done. We talked about water. Day 2 is done. We've talked about our little bodyweight workout. So I will see you back here tomorrow for day number 3.